Hey, and welcome to Elite Rounders Tip Corner. We actually today talking about a little bit about bankroll building. This is a very common thing for a lot of people, and it's very common to people say they're building bankroll, which is normal in poker or bankroll in life, I guess. Um, what I want to talk about couple things about bankroll building because I've done it so many times, and to be honest, it's kind of like never-ending process in a way because like whenever you get to some level, you will need to get to the next level, right? Like usually people will always try to go to next level, next level, next level. So it's kind of never-ending process to be honest. But I think it's very important to learn a couple things about it because like if you're building bankroll, especially later on when you have more money and maybe your risk tolerance is a bit less, you don't want to take same risk as you would from the beginning. Let's say if you start with $50, you can probably, like for most of the countries in the world, actually I'm not going to say most of the countries in the world, that's probably not true. I'm going to say like first world countries, $50 is not much money. So you can start very aggressively playing with $50 and try to build a bankroll. It's not a big loss if you lose the $50. So that's a point when you probably want to have kind of aggressive bankroll management. So again, that's a point where you should probably gamble a bit more. But let's say when the amount of money is becoming like big for you, let's say €10,000 or €5,000, whatever the limit is, 20,000, 30,000, depends on person, I guess. So if it's €5,000, if you don't want to lose that amount of money, you have to play by certain rules then. You can't go like taking reckless shots all the time, like because even then like you have to think about like if the risk of ruin is huge, let's say it's like all the time 20% and you go higher, 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 it's kind of like it's going to fail at some point. The 20% is going to happen sometimes if the risk of ruin is there 20%. So you can't just keep taking like reckless shots. Otherwise you're gonna crash and burn, let's say like Isildur or something. Even though fantastic player, but you're gonna crash and burn at some point. So but yeah, let's start with this. First of all, I think if you start like building bankroll, of course, like I guess this is more for the short term. Before you start the bankroll building, I think it's important that we actually know we are winning player. So it's very important to study your Pocket Tracker 4 or Hand to Note, whatever program you use to track your results. You should be tracking your results, by the way. Not just like for the hand histories, that's also great information, but just to see how you play. It's impossible to review your hands if you don't, if you can't replay them anyway. So it's very important that we actually make sure we are winning players, so you're not just wasting your time per se. If you're not winning player, yeah, study your hem 2, 3, Pocket Tracker 4, Hand to Note, confirm you're winning player. And then if you're not winning, I would say like sign up to some coaching sites or hire coaching. That's gonna be the fastest way. To be honest, I think like good coach can help you very quickly in couple hours. If you listen, if you listen what they're saying, I think good coach can really help you in a couple hours a lot. Like fix the biggest issues, and that will fix like 80% of the problems, I think. So after that, it's just going to be like fixing some small things, so you become even better. But usually it's same as you go to gym. Like first time you can lift 20, next time 40 or something. Like the process is very fast, at the beginning. So the poker is very easy to get to that like 80% skills. Like let's say you're top 80% in the world, and then it gets harder to get to that like 95%, and it takes even more effort to get to 96%. I'm talking about like you will be like top 4% in the world or something. So it just gets tougher, and the higher you are in the hierarchy, basically like 99%, to get to that top 100%, that would be very, very tough, and it would take a lot of hours, study hours, and everything to get there. But the 80% is actually fairly easy. Just to become winning player in poker is fairly simple, I think. Of course, sometimes I underestimate that because I've played 10 years, so maybe it's underestimation. But yeah, either way, I think when you start these bankroll challenges or bankroll building, you definitely want to create some goal or some amount of tournaments you are going to play, or the money amount what you want to achieve. I think you should also have a look at the tournament variance calculator for this. Just calculate what your ROI could potentially be, and put here the info and look at like the results, like how often you're actually going to make it and everything. So don't take like totally unrealistic goal, because it's not going to motivate you for very long if it just looks like hopeless project. So I think it's very important to make a goal which is still like possible, not just like impossible. Like don't take way out of your skills basically. So looking at this, yeah, use the pokerdope.com tournament variance calculator. It is a fantastic tool so to see what we can achieve realistically. I think it gives you like a little bit different perspective instead of just hoping to get lucky, we can all get lucky, that's the good thing, but sometimes it's good to look at the real numbers, what we can make. And I think this is the other thing I was talking about a little bit, like what is your risk tolerance? It depends, like, again, if you can lose the bankroll, how big risk can you take? Like, again, if you start with $10, $50, you probably can take a bigger risk, right? You just want to get to the higher level quicker, basically. So the risk of ruin can be higher, right? Because you can afford to load another $50. Like I said earlier, if your bankroll is €5,000 and you work no regular job for like, let's say you make net profit €1,000 a month, you don't want to lose that €5,000. I think that would be kind of painful. So in that case, you probably don't want to do something where your risk of ruin is huge, right? You want to do something where the risk of ruin is basically zero, I think, if you don't want to lose the amount, of course. And that's probably going to mean like having good edge in the game. That's very important to lower variance. Good edge in the game, and choosing the right games. You don't want to choose like player fields which are massive if you want to make steady money. If you just want to make steady money, you want to choose field size which are a little bit smaller, like 100 players, 200 players. Not something like on stars. Let's say if you play these Hotter 11 or whatever it is, there's 2,000 players. Even if you have edge there, it's going to be very much up to luck if you actually make money this month. Because like while you have great edge there, it's just not going to realize that often, and it can take a long time before you actually get some scores. So it can be kind of ungrateful to play those games. Like if you play a lot of those games, you can feel very ungrateful for poker. If you play on small sites, you actually win very often. You win tournaments very often. So it's kind of nice feeling too. You feel like you're winning more often, because you do win tournaments way more often when there's only 100 players. Because let's say everybody's equal. You start a tournament with 100 players. Your chance to win is 1%, right? So it's not that bad. But imagine that with 1,000 players. You see that there's quite a big difference. 10 times worse odds to actually win if everybody's equal. So there is a big difference. Like, don't underestimate the variance which adds when there's like 2,000 people. Like, you're going to be busting a lot of late runs, and it's totally normal. So I think if you want to lower the risk tolerance, basically just play smaller fields. It's always a good idea. But of course, I think it would be good to like consider like which sites to play on. Maybe not just on stars. If you want to build steady money, it could be also sit and goes. They're kind of good option too. I feel like you can play high volume, make a couple bucks per game. It's been decent, so it's not bad idea either. But yeah, either way, that was kind of like the first thing that came to my mind on bankroll building. But of course, there's a lot of other things we will cover. But this was at least the first video of explaining bankroll building. So I hope it cleared some ideas. There's definitely a lot more to talk about. But yeah, as long as it gets the people talking, that's good, Okay, so thank you for watching.